What's up, dude? In 1971, the Cleveland Indians would hold promotions to get fans into games just because they didn't really have a super fantastic attendance record. So one time they had Nickel Beer Day, which went off without an issue, so they thought that they would do more promotions like that. Now, just a little bit of a backstory, the Cleveland Indians and the Texas Rangers had played a game against each other, and that game did not go well. Those two teams hated each other. Fans were really against each other. The actual team members were against each other. Like, there were things in that last game that just like kind of made the agitation between the two teams even worse. Like, one player threw a baseball right behind some guy's head on the other team, just like weird shit like that. They would basically like body check each other running to first base, or just to the bases in general, I should say. It was really weird how much I didn't like each other, and like they actually physically took it out on each other, like blatantly during games. I didn't even like try to hide it or anything. It was just like full on body checking, tackling each other, like weird. So Cleveland decided to do a 10-cent beer night, which drew in 25,134 baseball fans, which was twice the estimated number of attendees to show up. The team offered 12-ounce cups of beer for only 10 cents. Stroh's beer was on tap, and they're kind of like, for some reason, people blamed them for what happened at this game. I don't really think that they should be held accountable. I really honestly think that Cleveland should have been held accountable for this, which they, in some senses, they were. So the usual cost for a 12-ounce cup of beer was 65 cents, which still, by today's standards, is like really good. I don't know what it would be with inflation, but still, 65 cents for a beer. Could you imagine? Damn. So the only limitation was that you could only buy 6 beers at a time, but throughout the entire game, you could come back as much as you wanted. Well, as the game went on, the more inebriated fans would get, they would just keep going back. And like, the lines were so crazy long. So basically, they'd get 6 beers, take them back to their seats, and then just go and get 6 more, and kept going back and forth because they were so cheap. So why not, you know? It didn't take long for the Rangers to get a 5-1 lead against the Cleveland Indians. So that really kind of started the tension, like the already agitation that the two teams felt towards each other and that their fans felt against each other. It really started to get heightened at this time because, you know, one team was very clearly ahead by a lot in baseball standards, I would think. So like, things started to like happen in the stands, and fans were getting rowdier and rowdier because they were drinking so much beer. But now you might be wondering, who is handing out the beer? You know, obviously it's got to be someone from Stroh's handling the beer trucks and the taps and everything. No, it was not. It was actually 2 teenage girls in very revealing clothes because, you know, it's the 70s, so we don't really acknowledge that that's inappropriate at that point yet. So eventually, as fans got rowdier and as the lines would get longer and people would get pushier and get more like physical, the girls eventually were like, yo, screw this, I'm out. And they just walked away. And then fans would start filling up their own cups right from the beer trucks, or they would just put their head under the tap and drink what they could. So beer now was essentially free. So everyone was getting even drunker, which, you know, really makes the situation a lot better. Leron Lee, who was on the Indians team, hit a pitch straight into the Rangers pitcher's stomach, which the Cleveland fans absolutely loved, and they started chanting, hit him again, hit him again. So, you know, if you're drunk, seeing something like that would be really freaking cool. You know what I mean? A woman ran from the crowd into the Indians' like on deck circle and flashed her boobs, which, you know, good for her, I guess, liberation, you know, it's the 70s, flashed her boobs, and then she tried to kiss the ump, who was really not having it, which, honestly, that would be like someone being the sober friend looking after the drunk friends. That's kind of what the ump was, I think, towards the crowd, if that makes any sort of sense. So he was not pleased about this. After Tom Grieve hits his second home run, a streaker ran out onto the field and slid into second base, which sliding is really cool, really fun, but like if you have a bare arm or something and you get that road rash, that shit hurts. So imagine doing that fully nude. Then, during the next inning, a father-son pair ran out onto the field and mooned fans in the bleachers, and they mooned the guys in the outfield. So this is what really kicks off the pandemonium. For whatever reason, some fans brought firecrackers to the stadium, and they started lighting them off in the stands. They started lighting them and then throwing them onto the field. Food was being thrown at players. Like, one guy got hit by a hot dog. Fans were like interrupting plays by all of this that's happening. So that made both teams really, really, really pissy as well, because they're just trying to do their job and play baseball, and here it keeps getting interrupted by these rowdy fans, and these two teams don't like each other. So they're getting more and more annoyed, and then when it's like, hey, that's your fans that are interrupting our plays and da 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 da, it's like it's not making the situation any better. In the bottom of the ninth, the Indians managed to tie the score to 5-5. So, you know, that's a pretty good comeback. So their fans are starting to feel like, oh yeah, we got this. Like, their morale is going up, and the other teams is kind of going down a little bit because they lost this great lead that they had. Then a 19-year-old fan, Terry Yurkic, ran out onto the field and tried to steal Jeff Burrows, he played for the Rangers, tried to steal his cap, which caused Jeff to stumble. But then Jeff's manager, Billy Martin, thought that Jeff was being attacked, so he ran out to defend his player. Well, right behind him was the whole rest of the team that was on the bench. So some of them grabbed bats and ran out onto the field. Then, after this happened, fans went out on the field. They were fighting in the bleachers. They were fighting on the field. Like, people were stealing shit from the stadium. They were absolutely wrecking the stadium. Someone stole second base. They were stealing, like, seats and just weird shit. But, I mean, when you're drunk, you kind of do that, you know? So fans were taking everything. The players were getting more and more pissed off. They were beating the crap out of each other. People had bloody noses. Tons of people ended up with injuries. Even today, we don't really know the exact number of people that got hurt. Thankfully, though, no one died. So I guess, you know, that's a silver lining in this entire case, I guess. But the riot lasted for like 20 minutes, okay? That doesn't sound like a long amount of time, but like, could you imagine fighting for 20 minutes? No, I would be on the floor. So after the riot, both teams ran back to their clubhouses and locked the doors, and they never did a promotion like that ever again. I think this story is a lot of fun, and it's really funny, and I'm really bummed out that we don't hear more about this, because a riot happening... Okay, hold on. Let's back up. So not only do you have a great rivalry between two teams and their fans, okay? Then you add in 10-cent beer night. Okay, so you're getting drunk very cheaply. And then the more drunk you get, the more intense the game gets with tying the score. It's like you're just, you know, I hate to say it, but you're kind of asking for a problem. I just feel like this idea maybe wasn't fleshed out quite like it should have been, but I think this story is really fun. There is some more footage that you can find on the internet. It's a little hard to find. I kind of struggled a bit, but if you guys want, it's definitely out there. There's also another channel that did do a really good more in-depth coverage of this story. Like, in their video, I don't know how true this is or not, but I guess in Cleveland, a factory had laid off a bunch of workers, so that's kind of why they were able to go to the game as well, because they were laid off, so they had free time. Like I said, I don't know how true that is, so I didn't really use that video as a source for mine, but I do have my case sources linked in the description box down below, so if you want to go take a peek, absolutely go do that. But that is it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more like weird history videos, I might start throwing some of these in as well. So really my channel ranges from kind of weird history, true crime, and then also celebrity news and gossip sometimes, if I find something that's really interesting. But, yeah, let me know how you guys feel about this video. I'll try to sprinkle in more of these if you guys like them. Even if you don't, I'll still probably do it, because let's be real, my channel is kind of for my own enjoyment as well. But I hope that you guys have a really great day. Go out, touch some grass, breathe some fresh air, say hi to your mom, call your mom probably, but make sure to come back to my channel on Friday for another video. Bye guys.